Welcome to the Florida Real Estate and Entrepreneur Podcast, where we interview the best and the brightest business and real estate leaders. Our mission is to inspire and help 1,000 entrepreneurs to start and succeed in real estate and entrepreneurship. We will give you the exact playbook to succeed in your business through the experience of those who blaze the path. We're bringing the what's working today directly to you. Let's get started. Welcome back to the Florida Real Estate and Entrepreneur Podcast. I have an amazing guest today, Amanda Webster from Fund&Grow. Amanda is a business leader. She works across all kinds of industries. And I know for a fact she helps a ton of people with business capital and credit and all these like really cool things that lets people get access to capital they probably wouldn't otherwise have. And it really allows people to scale. So I'm really excited to talk to you today about it, Amanda.
I am excited to be here. Thank you so much.
You are the Chief Operations Officer of Fund&Grow. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So that just means you probably manage all the chaos, is my guess.
I call it an intrapreneur. I do everything because the entrepreneur of the business decided he did enough and he'd like to just not do too much anymore.
Yeah. And you're the make it happen person, which is really powerful. And it speaks a lot to who you are. And I love you as a person because every time you and I get a chance to hang out, it's always a good time. You're in a military family and you know I'm partial to that. What's your background? How did you get to the point where you were at Fund&Grow, which you've been for almost 5 years, I think?
My original passion in adult life was legal based. So I actually started working in law firms, I got my degree in business, but didn't use it for a little bit. Became a registered, certified paralegal, then ended up managing law firms in the Tampa Bay area. That was kind of my passion. I did, for 17 years, I was in law. However, I got burnt out from law only because I did family law, like divorce law. That is draining on just your person. So I had to COVID gave me an out because the law firm needed to furlough people. It wasn't, all of us had issues during COVID, especially with divorce law, because people couldn't pay for divorces at that time. People didn't have enough money coming in. I'm pretty sure divorce rate went up higher after COVID because everyone was home by themselves. But
wow, I really don't like this person.
It's an interesting thing. So, that was kind of my path into management, into leading organizations. And then I found Fund&Grow in a very just organic way. They were looking for an administrative director to kind of assist the CEO with certain things. And that's how I originally came in. But my journey really quickly became known that he needed to find his person. And I'm very flattered that he chose me, that I'm his person to trust and be able to run the day-to-day of everything. I act as the CEO in the moment when he's not here. I act as the COO, the CMO. I do kind of all the hats of everything running. So it's been an interesting journey. I am a military spouse. My husband has been in for 23 years so far. I think he's about to get his E9 promotion, which he's extremely ecstatic about. And he loves what he does. So I don't know that he's going to retire anytime soon. And we grew a wonderful family. We have 5 kids and 3 German shepherds and very crazy household, but we love it that way.
That's incredible. I think there's a couple things there that, well, one, first off, congratulations to your husband, because a lot of people don't know how the military chart works, the promotion chart. When she says E9, that's literally the top.
They call him top.
So he's got, it will be he got all of the promotions available to him, which really just speaks to his level of commitment and dedication to what he does. And we all know it's not easy. There's a lot of travel. There's a lot of time away from family. So my hat's certainly off to him. I can commiserate on that. So congratulations to him. The other thing that I really do love too is this idea of intrapreneurship, where, a lot of people want to be entrepreneurs, or they say they want to be entrepreneurs, and it's really hard. There's a lot of weight that comes with that. There's a lot of risk. There's a lot of risk of capital. There's a lot of risk of all kinds of stuff, as you know. But I think it's amazing to have an opportunity to be an entrepreneur where you can plug into an existing system and really grow it and also benefit from it. That's a great path. I think people don't consider as much, but should consider more. And obviously, you're wildly successful. You're super well respected. I'm curious about Fund&Grow. So Fund&Grow, for the audience, like, what is it? Who do you guys serve, and what specifically do you guys do?
Fund&Grow grew out of when the market crashed in 2007, 2008. The founder was doing HELOCs specifically for real estate investing purposes. He was doing those type of mortgages, second mortgages for people. However, if you are old enough and you rode through that wave, you know that market took a ginormous, just dead stop. And he needed to find a pivot for his clientele to be able to continue to invest in real estate. So he discovered business credit and then developed this amazing model that we have continued to grow. And we are industry agnostic. We just really target real estate because it's an area that doesn't have a lot of options, and created a fun way to be able to use this in a very strategic, kind of not traditional way. But we have a white glove service where we help entrepreneurs across any state, any industry, to be able to, not only do we get the strategy for them, we make sure they're set up correctly, we make sure all their stuff is on point. We actually develop the plan of what lenders to go to with their specific information, their specific relationships. We apply for them. We do the entire, white glove experience and build business credit on their EIN side so that they can stop using their personal. Because one of the things that a lot of entrepreneurs don't understand is the double-edged sword by using your personal credit or your personal finances, your personal cash flow. All of those things can create problems on both sides. So we teach everyone how to kind of divorce yourself from your business and have two very separate things happening. And all of your personal stays over there and all of your business comes over here, and very clean. And at the same time, you're building a business credit score that a lot of people don't understand, that this world is there. And when you build a business credit score, it is going to grow to get non-recourse, non-personally guaranteed, 100% on the EIN, no matter who the owners or the players are in the business can stand on its own for funding purposes. And the quickest way to do that is to go through programs like ours to accelerate the growth and get hundreds of thousands of dollars in business credit that you can use right now. And it's super healthy to use it in a way that the personal credit game penalizes you for. You can max out these accounts. They're very similar to a business line of credit, but a lot of people can't get a business line of credit because they don't have the financials. Lenders are looking for consistent business income. Well, in a lot of markets, that's not how it works. And right now it's like 40 grand a month they want to see in deposits into your business for 6 months. And it's just not reality for some people. And they want to see your business be seasoned for 2 years. And there's certain industries they won't lend to. So we created a space where you can have any business, anything you're doing, with very few exceptions. And even those, there's ways to work around it to be able to have the capital you need. On the front side at 0%, even when the interest rates kicked in, there's tons of reward programs and cash back for the money you're spending anyway. So there's kind of quote unquote free money, if you will, for using these types of lines. And we educate our clients on how to do it properly, how to wire transfer money from the card into a closing, how to pay contractors who don't have merchant accounts. All of that is within our wheelhouse. And we've spent, the years in vetting out these partners to be able to make sure that it's on the up, it's following all the regulations, and you're going to be able to fund whatever you want, even creative deals.
This is like mind blowing, I think, for a lot of people. You and I, we kind of float around this real estate space of entrepreneurs, and there's like two variations of the real estate investor. There's the new investor who is still kind of bumping their way around, figuring it out. And there's two fundamental problems that real estate investors believe that they have in the beginning. And number one, by and far, is I don't know how to get the money to invest in real estate. Whether that's like flipping and wholesaling and needing operating capital to do marketing or whatever it may be, or that's just like, I want to do buy and holds and get 20% down. I need the capital to get 20% down on a house. We get that a lot in our real estate coaching company. Like that is the biggest thing. And then finding deals, of course. So the capital side is what's so interesting to me because money comes with a lot of baggage. Like people have baggage when it comes to money and making money and talking about money. And you guys are kind of helping to show people a way that, getting access to the capital, but then helping them also to understand how to use it responsibly, which in my opinion is the habit that the best business owners have created, is the ability to use capital responsibly and be a good steward of that money. Can you kind of talk about that piece? So like if I'm a new investor and I need let's say I want money to grow a business. Like if I wanted to grow a business today, I would join 7-Figure Flipping, which is a coaching program that costs money, so that I knew everything I needed to know about how to do it. And then I need some capital to go after deals, whether that's in marketing or buying flips. Like, what do you normally see with these types of investors? Like the process, what happens once you take them through this process? How long does it take? Once they do it, what do you see them do with the capital to be successful? So
number one rule we teach them is that you should not be spending any capital you get. I don't care where you get it from, unless it's something that's investing in the growth of you or your business, right? You as an entrepreneur or your business. And they can be indirect and direct. There's a whole slew of things you can do there. But for us, a brand new entrepreneur, marrying them with the ability to have the money to then learn from an expert is a great thing to have, right? Because there's so much out there that's misinformation, and finding the right program to be able to teach you the true way of doing it, right? We all know wholesaling is a way to quickly kind of get into it and learn some things, but you can also do it really wrong. So marrying those two things is great for someone to understand. Social media has made misinformation so easy to get out and kind of take off.
No, so bad.
It's so bad.
So bad.
We also educate them that, there's a cost to capital. No matter where you go, what you do, even if you're using your own money, there's a cost to that, right? Because you no longer have that money. There's a whole value of the dollar and all the things that you can get into that. But imagine in a world where you can get business credit on your EIN, so it's not affecting your personal, it's not showing up there. And it's 0% for 12, 18, sometimes 24 months with some of the merging we can do. That gives you time to build your empire, at least the beginning of it. So you start having ROI. So you start having the income coming in to pay off the capital before the interest comes in. Then once there's interest, it's understanding how to use it for short-term leveraging. Marrying it with a hard money lender that you need 20% down and you can get something, or even a direct, commercial real estate type of deal where you need 20% down. This is a great marrying, but also understanding that it should be short-term leveraging, because cost of capital should always be part of your deal. It should always be a strategy that you're looking when you have that spreadsheet in front of you and you're looking at what that deal is going to cost you and how much you're going to profit. You need to include any points or interest on that cost of capital for you. And then what's your long-term strategy? If you're buying and flipping, different scenario, right? Different equation. If you're buying and holding, I think most people know that you can obtain funding for a property you've already acquired much easier than a property you're attempting to acquire. So a lot of people use this type of capital to just acquire the property. And then within a short period of time, after doing a little bit of renovations, making the property worth a little bit more, getting a long-term solution, and then paying off this capital and rinse and repeat, and doing it that way so that they can get 5, 6, properties underneath their portfolio pretty quickly to generate the revenue to then move forward. So it's strategy with business, and making your business plan should always include how are you funding that business plan, both short-term and long-term.
If I come to you and say I have a W-2 maybe, but what if my credit's like 600 or less? Can I still do this strategy or no?
No, the thing about business credit is you don't have to provide financial statements. You don't have to have a seasoned business. You don't need any of those red tapes that you get on the regular traditional side. But because of that, the offset is you are going to have to leverage your personal credit until you get to a point that you don't have to, right? Until your EIN has built the business credit to stand on its own. So you do need a 680 credit score. You do need to be able to have that. What I will tell you is I couldn't even count. It's such a high number of how many entrepreneurs come to us and they have a 620 credit score. But the reason they have it is they have used all of their available credit on their personal credit. And that will tank your credit score the quickest. So if you use more than 35% of your available balances on your available limits on your personal credit, it starts to tank your score very quickly. So it's almost like you're penalized for using the limits you're given. It's a very big conundrum. So if we're able to find them a solution to get that paid down, we can then get them the business credit, which doesn't have those rules. So a lot of times it's why is your credit score that low? I wouldn't discourage someone just because they have a 650 or a 620. It's finding out why is your credit that low. And that's another thing that we've taken the time to learn is becoming experts in the personal credit game to understand why people's credit is the way it is and what are the things that would improve it the quickest and the largest, margin.
If somebody comes to you and say they've got a 650, they're a little short on the credit score, you guys will help them put the strategy in place to get up and over the 680 so they can then come and leverage this business line of credit or this business credit in order to go invest into their business and start actually bringing revenue.
Yeah. We have a couple different tracks that we put people on. And we like to do on the front side. We offer a free consult to be able to have that conversation before you ever pay us so that we can tell you, okay, you don't qualify now. You need to do these couple things. This is what's going to make that difference. Come back to us in 6 months when you're done with that, or come back to us in 2 months when you're done with that. Some people need some beefing up on their personal credit because they've never taken the time to build lines. So we'll offer a longer membership to build in a round of personal credit building for them for no additional charge to our service. So we have a couple different tracks of how we do it. Anyone with major stuff, we are very honest that you're going to need credit restoration, credit repair, whatever term you want to use right now for that service. And we refer them out and they can go wherever they want. But we tell them, listen, until these things are done, you're not going to get any funding. And that's true in the traditional sense. Traditional business lending still looks at your personal credit. I don't care what they tell you. They are soft pulling it. They are making sure you are a responsible person, even though it's a business loan.
Yeah. Nobody's giving you money if they don't think you can give it back. If it's personal, business, whatever, it doesn't matter. So that's great. Okay, great. This is this is really powerful. Do you have any success stories? Because unlocking this part where you can get this capital and then applying it to the right places to make money can be super powerful. Do you have any cool success stories from your people who have used you?
Yeah. One of my favorites recently was, it was a Burr style real estate investor. And he actually helped his, son who just became an adult utilize, the client's business credit to help his son. And they actually were able to get his son to purchase a property, do the rehab. They rolled the rehab into the deal, which was an amazing thing. I've actually never seen it done quite the way they did it. And then they were able to refinance it. And now the same kid who's 18 years old has done this 3 times and has 3 properties under his name because he went to a hard money lender on the backside once he already owned the property. And it is just amazing to see a youthful person who then now, a couple of years from now, will be able to come back to us and get his own his own business credit, because we also counseled him on how to build his credit as an 18-year-old kid. And we do that for people. If somebody has no credit, right? They were a stay-at-home mom and they never bothered to, earn credit, things like that. We want to counsel them on responsible ways to build it. So, and then the other ones are, we do a promotion once a year where my funding team will actually get clients to fill out a survey of what they came here for, what did Fund&Grow help them with. And the best one ever it was a real estate investor who wasn't coming here for purchasing properties. They had that set in place, but they needed to build a team. And being able to see that same person go from one VA, I think that's all she really had, and she outsourced a lot of things. Now she has an entire in-house team. And when I talked to her last, about a year after her membership here, she now has 10x'd the ability to close on 10 times more properties, and her profit margin is higher than it's ever been, just by getting the front capital to hire that team, to float that for a year, to build it, and then she paid it off. So within that 0% interest period, she was able to build the team, create the flow to pay it off, and now she uses it for just ordinary expenses to kind of stretch her cash flow.
Super powerful.
It's amazing.
Super powerful. Yeah, this is such a good strategy. I think let's kind of talk about the other side of the coin. Let's talk about the risk, right? Because I think it's important. Anytime we're talking about the opportunity, we should always talk about the risk on this. Because if you're responsible, like this could be the difference between, you making a couple $1,000,000 in your business if you're just starting out, and honestly taking 5 to 6 years to do it rather than a couple of years. So what do you see as the risk for people using this strategy?
I think the risk is the lack of planning. So being able to plan to pay off this debt. While you're in the 0%, sure, you have a lot of window there. You do have to pay minimum payments. It's like 1% of what you owe is your monthly minimum payment until you get, actually forever, but you don't want to have interest at that, at that rate. But I think it's the planning and having a backup plan. What if the deal falls through? What if the deal doesn't net you enough to pay off the entire amount? Do you have a plan B? And I think that's what people have to understand, is making sure you have that. So making sure you have the ability to pay this debt before the cost of capital becomes not productive for you. So it's the same idea with your personal revolving lines, your unsecured revolving lines on your personal, same philosophy. You have to know that sitting on those accounts long-term are expensive. So it's the same world in business. You have to be able to understand that once the interest kicks in, this needs to be short-term leveraging. This needs to be, you're paying for your paid ads and you're going to have the income come in before you actually owe the interest. Or maybe you're only floating for 1 month. That can be attainable, right? Or a couple of months. Or you're flipping and you build in 2 months of interest or whatever to allow it. It's the planning. That's where the responsibility comes on you as the consumer. You as the business owner, once you obtain this, is only use what's in your threshold to be able to pay back if something was to fall through. And that's something that I teach both to the personal and the business side, is always having ability to come out of it, even if something falls through. Even if, what's your worst case scenario? Do you have a plan for that?
I can see 2 really clear paths for real estate investors, whether they're new or they're experienced. And like path 1 is kind of the direct to seller person, the wholesaler, if you will, could really fuel some marketing costs, because there's a lot of people fumbling around doing little to no marketing, but trying to get deals. Like if you just had a little bit of capital to put into marketing, you could really, really start locking in contracts. And then also, like you said, adding in team members, like building if you're hiring virtual assistants, which we have a bunch in our business, then you can start getting the people to actually do the work. And now you have the capital and the time because you hired people. And that's just a complete game changer. And then the other side of the coin is the person who's flipping houses. Anytime they can get in for 0% interest and even lever that opportunity on their flips, where they have a lot of cost. They have a lot of costs going on during the project with materials and paying contractors and that stuff. And then you can kind of ease that typical cash flow issue that the flippers often run into. I had a guy, friend of mine in the community, great investor. He's a little tapped. He's like, man, I'm paying myself a good chunk of money, $10K a month or whatever it was, but I feel broke. And, we start looking through his assets and his debt versus what they're worth. And it's like, man, you got over $500,000 in equity sitting here. You're loaded. You're a rich guy. You just got to get some of these assets turned and put on the market. So, cash flow is always a problem for flippers, having working capital. And this could be just a phenomenal potential opportunity for them. So that's really cool, Amanda. I'm curious. Okay. So we'll definitely put a link in the description wherever this is posted at, but where can they find you at, and what does the process look like? So if they're going to reach out to you, do they go to a website? Do they call you? And then what happens after that?
I created a link just for you, and it's fundandgrow.com/Adam. Super easy. And
nice.
That's going to bring them to a page. You give them a couple of options. We offer that free soft pull pre-qualification. We offer the free consult on the front side. Or if you know your credit score, you're in good shape, and this is something you've already kind of been on the fence about, you can straight sign up. We built in a discount, a $500 discount for anyone who comes from this podcast.
Oh, nice.
So it'll be just under $3,500, $3,497. is the flat fee. We are a flat fee model. We don't charge you points on what we obtain for you. There's nothing else extra. It is a one-time fee. We do have payment plans as well. And that's going to give you 12 months of service with our company. It's going to give you all the strategy on the front side, all of the, picking your lenders that make sense. If you don't have a properly set up entity, we can assist you in getting one set up in whatever state you're in. We do the applications for you. There's a couple things we can't do for you legally, but those things we have a ton of coaching and material for you. And we hold your hand through that process of anything that we can't legally do for you. And we have a ridiculous rating online. Please look us up. Don't take my word for it. I like my clients to kind of give their stories and their, experiences. And we've worked really hard to make sure that we are customer service centric and everything is about that service that they're getting here. And we get people to funding really quick, like within 10 days if they're ready to go within 10 days,
wow.
They're in applications.
Yeah. And you have a great reputation across the industry. So I know you're a quality human. I know you guys do great work. So on average, how much access to capital do people typically get, would you say?
So it's 3 rounds of funding. So typically the average in that first round, which is that immediate thing that we're doing, is anywhere from 30 to 100,000. And that obviously is ranging off of a profile, right? Because some people, you don't have to have perfect credit, but if you do have perfect credit, you're going to be on the higher end of that spectrum, right? Then we have rest periods where you use the credit and we bring you back in. But on average, our goal point for everybody is to get them to 250,000 by the time they exit our program, but also give them the coaching to continue to grow those lines, because you can keep asking for increases. You can keep growing those lines after you leave us. I have people who add or double their available credit once they leave us by just continuing to know when to ask for the increases and how to ask for them. Because in business credit, there's actually an underwriting department. So you have to speak to people for things like that. So we coach and counsel them on exactly how to do that upon exiting. So our goal point's 250,000. There's definitely people who don't reach that goal point. It typically has to do with their profile, or they don't listen to us and they don't do what we tell them to do. And I can't make them do it.
You can only lead the horse to water, Amanda. I know all too well.
So, but that is our goal point for everybody. And it is attainable for pretty much everybody, unless you're coming in with a really difficult credit profile. That's
great. All right, cool. Well, for anybody that's listening to this, definitely click that link and check out what they do. Capital. I mean, if you think about how a typical business goes to scale, like a lot of these businesses get like VC backed, right? VC venture capitalists, they find outside capital to come in and then fuel their company, where they can typically hire a bunch of people and really scale their marketing and those kind of things. You're talking about 10, 8 and 9 figure businesses. So it's really not different for us as bootstrapping entrepreneurs going from 0 to $1 million or $1 million to $5 million. We've got to produce capital somehow. Either we're going to go put sweat equity in to get it, or we're going to bring in some outside capital like Amanda or other types of capital. But there does need to be leverage. In order to grow, you do need leverage. Leverage could be money, it could be people, but you do need leverage to grow your business. So that's why you guys are called Fund&Grow, I guess. That makes sense.
Yep. 100%.
So yeah, guys, go click that link. At least check it out. It's probably worth a conversation to see how business capital could help your business so that you can grow and scale your business responsibly. And Amanda, I just want to say, I'm glad we finally got on today. Thank you genuinely for your time. I hope you have the most amazing Christmas party and an awesome holiday this year.
You too. Thank you so much for having me. I hope you and the family have a great, hopeful some time off to spend and enjoy the holidays.
Yes, ma'am. All right. Thanks for listening to today's podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast, please leave us a 5-star review. I'd be forever grateful. Thanks for listening.